no bladder. Oh, no, here's his bladder. Oh, his bladder is still intact. Okay, good, good. All right, so you have a boy. Testicles. The testicles are housed outside the body right here in this little sac. Why doesn't that reach anymore?
You're putting your phone right in my video.
Oops, okay. So the testicles are housed out here in the sac. That sac is called the scrotum. Okay, we open the scrotum up. Here's the testicles. Okay, here's the spermatic cord or the duct that's going to carry the sperm back into the abdomen. We have to go through that abdominal wall, okay, to get back inside. So here we are back inside now. Okay, that's the spermatic. Everybody okay? It's the spermatic cord. The spermatic cord is crossing over this right here. This is a ureter coming down from the kidney. Okay, so that's coming down into the bladder. Okay, the spermatic cord comes back up into the abdomen, crosses over top of the ureter. Okay, and the one on the other side also comes in. I don't know where your other ureter is, but here's the spermatic cord. This is part of the ureter on the other side. Here's your spermatic cord coming in, crossing over the ureter on that side. The bladder. We pull the bladder up here. This tube right here is the urethra coming out of the bladder. And both of those spermatic cords are going to join together eventually. Okay? Down here to make one spermatic duct. Okay? So the right one and the left one join up. And they actually merge with the urethra at the level of the prostate gland. And this little bulge right here, you can feel it if you feel right there. This little bulge right there, that's the prostate gland. Okay, so that's where the spermatic cord and the urethra join. Okay, and then we follow the urethra down the rest of the way to the penis. This is the body of the penis, or the shaft of the penis, and the end is called the glans penis. Okay, so scrotum, testes, spermatic cord comes up, crosses over the ureter, goes down behind the bladder. Okay, here's the urethra from the bladder. Here are your spermatic cords joining together.
So they could tag the spermatic cords either place.
Yep. They join together, and then finally they join with the urethra at the prostate gland. Okay, then this is the rest of the urethra coming down here, coming through the penis, the shaft or body of the penis, and the glans penis. Okay? All right, let me show you the human male.
Were any of the cats pregnant?
Nope, not this semester. Okay, so the human male, again, this is the scrotum that houses the testicles outside the body. Okay, here's the testicle itself. There is a C-shaped clamp of tissue around the testicle. That's called the epididymis. The epididymis helps collect the sperm and send them on their way up through the spermatic cord. That spermatic cord has to come through the abdominal wall right here. That's the inguinal canal where it comes through. And again, just like we were talking about with the esophagus going through the diaphragm, and sometimes that can rip and you get a hiatal hernia. Sometimes this can rip down here and you get an inguinal hernia where the intestines actually bulge out into the groin area. So I have to go in and patch that up. So we come through the abdominal wall, we go around the bladder. This is the bladder. So we come around the bladder here, and now here's our duct right here. Okay, carrying our sperm. This is the bladder, so this is the urethra coming out of the bladder. Okay? And you see that that spermatic duct and the urethra join right at the level of the prostate gland. This right here is prostate gland. Okay? The job of the prostate gland is to add fluid because sperm are flagellated, so they need fluid to swim. Okay, that's the job of the prostate gland. So now we have our sperm here, the fluid. Now we go down through the urethra. You can follow the urethra right here through the penis and out of the body. Okay? These columns of tissue here, right on either side of the urethra, that's called spongiosum. And this big column of tissue right here is called cavernosum. This is the erectile muscle in the penis. Okay? If we put our penis back together, here's the shaft or body of the penis, and then here's the glans penis at the end. Okay? Alright, so that's that. This diagram, this model is actually in your textbook. And they have a nice female model too, human female, which I don't have anymore because I don't.
But that's going to be used on the practical?
They have in the past.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to use, so I'm showing you everything.
Okay.
Okay? This is a sheep testicle.
Close enough.
Kidney testicle. Same thing. This is a sheep testicle. Okay?
Shoot.
If we, again, this would be in the scrotum outside the body. Okay, if we open up that scrotum, this would be covered with two very thick protective membranes. The outermost membrane is called the tunica vaginalis. The inner membrane is called the tunica alberginea, and that's what this one is, the alberginea. That may or may not be the outer membrane. I'm not really sure what that is, but this is the inner membrane. So this is the alberginea. Okay? If we open up the testicle, you have this dense, looks like real dense tissue in here. That's actually seminiferous tubules, microscopic tubules where the sperm are being made. Okay? The sperm are then drawn up through the epididymis, which is this C-shaped tissue right here. Okay? Right there. It's actually a pathway for the sperm to come out of the testicle and come up through the spermatic cord, which is in here. Okay? And also here, the spermatic cord is surrounded by a muscle called the cremaster muscle. And the job of the cremaster muscle is to pull that testicle up into the abdomen if it gets cold. Okay? Because it can't be too hot or too cold, and then you can't make a sperm. Okay? That's the sheep testicle. Good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Then while we're here, we can take a quick look at her kidneys. Okay, here is, oh, this one's open. Not sure why they did that. You can't really see much in a kidney. Anyway, here's her kidney.
It's a boy.
Oh, here's his kidney. Excuse me. Excuse me. His kidney. Okay. And again, here's our renal vein coming in, right? And below that somewhere is our, right there is our renal artery. Okay. And then coming out of the kidney and going nowhere is the ureter. Okay. We can look at this to get a better idea. This is a cow kidney. Okay, and we know that kidneys are kind of bean-shaped. Okay, that dent in the bean right there is called the hilus, and that's the area where the ureter, the renal artery, and the renal vein come out. Okay, the kidney is surrounded by a thick membrane called the capsule. If we open her up, this outer layer of tissue right here is called the cortex, and this is where all the capillaries are. Right, the kidney filters the blood, so this is where all that blood flow comes into the kidney, in the cortex. All this inner stuff here is called the medulla of the kidney. And in the medulla you see these little triangle shapes here. Those are the renal pyramids. The tips of the pyramids are called the papillae, and that's where the collecting duct ends, so the filtrate drips out. It drips out right at the end of the pyramid into a space called a minor calyx, a little depression. That feeds into a slightly larger space called a major calyx. And that feeds into the big empty space, which is this right here, which is called the renal pelvis. When the renal pelvis is filled with filtrate, it exits the kidney through the ureter. Okay? This tissue here that's separating the pyramids, those are called the renal columns. That's actually cortex dipping down in between the renal pyramids. Okay? We can also look at the human kidney model, just to be complete. Okay? Here's the capsule, right, the outside. This layer right here is the renal cortex. Okay? All this in here is renal medulla. Here's the pyramids. Okay? The tips of the pyramids are the papillae, right there. And that filtrate initially drips into the minor calyx, which is that little depression right there. That leads into a major calyx, which is a slightly bigger depression right there. And then finally into the renal pelvis, which is this big open area in here. And then it exits the body, exits the kidney through the ureter. Okay? And here's the renal columns you can see separating the pyramids.